Your dog is looking at you right now. It already knows how you feel. It reads your face, your shoulders, your voice. You have felt it work, in reverse too. Your smile lifts the dog before you make a sound. Its eyes flick to yours, away, then back, checking in. A chimpanzee cannot do that. Our closest genetic relative fails this exact test. Point at something across a room. Your dog follows your finger in a heartbeat. Point for a chimp, and it studies your hand. Something happened between wolves and people, roughly 15,000 years ago. It rewired two species at the same time, and you are living inside the result. The bond feels ordinary, its origin stays wild. 15,000 years ago, that pup was a predator. Be honest. When you walk through the door tonight, does your dog read your mood before you say one word? You know the answer. It does. You have been told a simple story. Humans found wolves. Humans tamed them. Humans built the dog on purpose. That story runs backwards. The animal on your couch was not our invention. In a real sense, it invented itself. And while it changed us too. Start with a scientist named Brian Hare. He runs the canine cognition lab at Duke University. He gives a dog and a chimp the same test. He hides food under one of two cups. Then he points at the correct cup. The dog checks where he points and gets it right. The chimpanzee ignores the finger and guesses. A human toddler passes this before it can talk. The chimp, with all its raw intelligence, does not. The chimp is smarter at almost everything else. At reading a human, the dog wins clean. Scientists call this cooperative communication, working together by reading each other's cues. It leans on the same skill that carries language. Then Hare tried the same test on wolves. Hand-raised wolves around people since birth. They failed it as badly as the chimps did. The dogs had not learned this from their owners. Puppies barely weaned already read the gesture. His 2002 paper called it the Domestication of Social Cognition. Reading us came built into becoming a dog. Following a point sounds trivial. It is not. It means grasping intent. The dog assumes you are trying to help it. A wolf assumes you might be a threat. Most animals never make that leap. Your dog makes it every single morning. It reads the leash, your shoes, your keys. It knows the walk is coming before you decide. No magic, just 15,000 years of practice. Now the timeline, because it matters. Dogs split from wolves somewhere between 40,000 and 15,000 years ago. Across Eurasia, maybe in more than one place at once. That is long before farming, before villages, before wheat, before any of it. The dog is the first species we ever domesticated, and we did it while still hunting mammoths. There is a grave that makes this personal. Near Bonn, in Germany, workers found it in 1914. A man, a woman, and a dog buried together. About 14,000 years old, older than the pyramids by 9,000 years. The dog was a puppy, barely 7 months. Its teeth show it survived a brutal illness, distemper, weeks of sickness, very high odds of death. A sick puppy is useless for hunting or guarding. Someone still kept it warm, clean, and fed for weeks. There was nothing to gain from it. 14,000 years ago, someone loved a dog enough to try. You would do the same tonight without thinking. Vet bills, sleepless nights, the whole thing. That instinct is far older than any of us. It was already ancient when we built the first city. So here's the turn. Nobody sat down and decided to build a dog. The honest version is stranger. It starts with garbage. Picture a hunter-gatherer camp 30,000 years ago. You kill an animal and butcher it. You leave a pile of scraps at the edge. That pile is free calories in the dark. For a hungry wolf, that pile is worth the risk. The only cost is getting close to people. Wolves that could pay that price ate every night. Wolves that could not stayed out in the cold. Most wolves will not come near a human. Fear keeps them alive in the wild. But a few wolves are born a little bolder, a little calmer around the fire. Those wolves creep in and eat the scraps. They survive better. They raise more pups. And those pups inherit the calm. Fear shrinks. Boldness grows. Generation by generation, the camp becomes home. They stop running. The wolf at the edge of the light moved in. This idea has a name, the commensal scavenger hypothesis. Commensal means eating at the same table. Nobody caged them, leashed them, or bred them. Just tolerance repeated for 10,000 years. Slowly, the boldest wolves stopped being wolves. That is not ancient history. That is you. You have watched this exact thing happen. A stray that lets you approach eats tonight. The one that bolts stays hungry. Calm gets fed. Calm survives. Every stray in every city runs on this rule. Multiply that across 1,000 generations. The bold, calm wolves became a new animal. Not through a plan, through a scrap pile. So ask yourself, who was really running this experiment? The humans or the wolves? Sit with that one, then tell me below. I read every single one. If that sounds like a story with no proof, meet the foxes. In 1959, a Soviet geneticist named Dmitry Belyaev wanted to watch domestication happen in real time. He took silver foxes from Siberian fur farms. Wild, snapping, terrified of people. He bred them on one rule only. Pick the calmest animal in each litter. Breed the friendly. Ignore everything else. No selecting for looks. No selecting for cuteness. Only for tolerance of a human hand. He also bred a second line for the opposite. Pure aggression as a control group. Same farm, same years. Opposite rule. His colleague Lyudmila Trut carried it on for decades. The experiment still runs in Novosibirsk today. 60 years of foxes, and the pattern holds. What happened stunned everyone, including Belyaev. He expected slow, small changes over a lifetime. He got a new kind of animal in a decade. Wild fox in, tail-wagging companion out. Within about 10 generations, the foxes changed, and the change went past behavior into their bodies. Their ears went floppy, their tails curled up, white spots bloomed across dark fur, their faces got shorter and softer. Some tame kits began wagging their tails at people. Wild foxes do not wag, these did. Their stress hormones dropped, their whole chemistry calmed. The aggressive line stayed wild and snapping. Same species. One rule apart. Friendliness alone had rebuilt the animal. Belyaev never selected for a single one of those traits. He selected for friendliness. Everything else came along for free. Biologists think one switch flips many traits. Tinker with early growth, and looks shift too. 10 generations. That is the deep secret of domestication. Select for tameness, and the dog face follows. Floppy ears, patchy coats, big puppy eyes. All of it follows from one trait. Friendliness reshapes the whole animal. Now the part most people miss. The change ran both ways. The wolves became dogs. That was half the story. Living with dogs quietly reshaped us. A camp with dogs sleeps safer. Humans could finally sleep deep, all at once. The dog took the night shift. On the coldest nights, its warmth kept people alive. A child guarded by a dog was a child that lived. One species watched while the other finally rested. Something smells a predator before any human ear catches it. A camp with dogs hunts better. The dog tracks, corners, and holds the prey. Some researchers argue this reshaped how our ancestors hunted and how they organized their groups. We handed smell and speed to another species, and we freed our hands for other things. More tools, more art, more time to think. The dog carried the risk so people could think. The dog was our first piece of living technology. Every herd and plow animal came after. The dog set the pattern for all of it. Think about that next time it steals your sock. You still feel this partnership every day. You cry, and the dog crosses the room to you. Nobody taught it that. It just came. There is fresh evidence written into the brain. In 2014, a researcher named Attila Andix ran a strange experiment in Budapest. Getting a dog to hold still, awake, took months. He trained 11 dogs to lie inside an MRI scanner. Awake, no sedation. Then he played sounds and watched their brains. Dog brains have a dedicated voice area. Human brains have one in nearly the same spot. In both species, that region reacts to emotion in a voice. Sadness, joy, threat. The brain sorts them fast. Your dog is doing this while you talk to it. A happy tone lights it up more than an angry one. Your dog hears the difference in your hello. Warm voice, and it relaxes. Sharp voice, and it cowers. Your dog is not guessing at your feelings. It processes them with hardware that mirrors yours. Those voice areas may be ancient. The two lineages split around 90 million years ago. Yet the wiring for reading a voice survived in both. 90 million years, and the circuit still lines up. Then there is the chemistry. Oxytocin is the bonding hormone. It floods a mother and newborn when they lock eyes. That loop built our species' first bond. Dogs trigger that same ancient circuit. The system meant for our babies now runs for our dogs. In 2015, a Japanese team led by Miho Nagasawa found the same loop between people and dogs. Owner and dog gaze at each other. Oxytocin rises in both of them. The dog feels closer, so it gazes more. The owner feels it too and gazes back. A quiet feedback loop, running on eye contact. Then they sprayed oxytocin into the dogs' noses. The dogs gazed at their owners even longer, and the owner's oxytocin rose in turn. The gaze feeds the hormone feeds the gaze. They ran the whole test on wolves raised by humans. The loop did not fire. Wolves rarely hold a human stare. Dogs seek it out. Watch your own dog hold your gaze tonight. A wolf would look away. Yours will not. Your dog wants the eye contact. It seeks your face. So think about the last time your dog looked you in the eyes. Both of your brains released oxytocin in that moment. There are only two species on Earth that do this to each other. Two, you and the animal at your feet. Not chimps, not our closest cousins. Dogs. You did not train that. 15,000 years of evolution built it. You inherited a friendship older than farming and writing, older than every country on the map. You did nothing to earn it. You were born into it. It predates money, kings, and every war you learned about. Which brings us back to the animal watching you read this. It descends from the friendliest wolves that ever lived, the ones brave enough to sit near our fire. Every generation for 15,000 years, that choice got made again. Wolf chose human, human chose wolf. Neither of you signed anything, and here you both are on the same couch. One of you a former apex predator, the other a former prey animal who got lucky. Now you share a blanket. 15,000 years of choosing each other ends here, with a dog on a couch watching you. The dog looking back at you carries deep friendship. Does your dog understand you better than the people in your life? Be honest. I read every single one.